Sport is superstition, science, family, drama, love, theatre. It's everything. That's why we've made a betting brand for sports fans that's better. Gamble responsibly.
After some extraordinary cricket over the past month, all eyes turned to Sunday night's T20 World Cup final between England and Pakistan at the MCG. Welcome to Fox Sports Lab Cricket. I'm Ben Dixon, your host, and joining me once again, the all-rounder Australia misses because we retired too soon. Simon O'Donnell, welcome. Simon?
Benno, good to be here. Can't wait.
It's great to have you on board. It's also great to have ex-Kiwi international Simon Doull with us. Welcome back, Dooley.
Cheers, Ben. Good morning, Scoob. How are we, boys?
Now we're ready to get right into this one. What a final we have ahead of us. Firstly, England cruised to victory over India at Adelaide Oval on Thursday night. Scoob, I'm going to start with you. 10-wicket win to England. Did it come as a shock to the great all-rounder in yourself?
Got a feather? Knock me over with it. Like, seriously, if you'd told me that was going to happen, I would have said, look, not a hope in hell. India are too good to be humiliated like that. But, you know, England were just superb. They had some chinks in their bowling. I tell you, obviously, the two openers, Butler, Hales, that was sublime stuff and gives them a lot of confidence going to the final.
All right, well, I love you straight off the bat. You've hit me with a feather. All right, Dooley, off the back of an unbeaten 170-run opening stand with Hale and Butler, they were simply terrific. Now, is that put England as clear favourites in this one?
I thought they were favourites prior to the tournament already. I think they will go into the final as favourites. You just never know with Pakistan. Pakistan have been the best bowling attack in the tournament. I think outside of that first game against India, they conceded 160. They hadn't conceded more than 130 up until the New Zealand game. And they bowled brilliantly to restrict New Zealand at the SCG. So I think you've got the best batting lineup in the tournament up against the best bowling lineup in the tournament. So will that negate each other out? And who comes out on top will be a tough one, but I think England have the edge.
Do you concur?
I think Pakistan are the best bowling lineup. I agree with Simon on that. The batting of England, just with Dawid Malan, who I don't think is going to come up for the final, I think that just leaves them that little bit exposed. Phil Salt will come into that number 3 spot. He hasn't played this tournament. He played recently back in the Pakistan warm-up games while they were on tour, but that is the one chink in their armour from a batting point of view. All
right, let's go back to Wednesday night, semi-final SCG. What bearing will Afridi and Pakistan's bowling attack have on this World Cup?
Dooley intimated, just how well they're being. I think and agree with him that they're the best bowling attack in the world. And the way they executed things in the semi in Sydney, I didn't think they could bowl that well. But they did. So if that execution, they can transfer that to Melbourne, that's really going to test the England batting lineup. They just smothered New Zealand, absolutely smothered them, gave them nothing wide, didn't allow them to free their arms. It was brilliant what they did. The big question is, can they transfer it now?
All right, Dooley, the Pakistan bowlers, how do they restrict England's top order? We just touched on the dominance on Thursday night, but the all-important power play, how do they do it?
Yeah, well, it's going to be tough. I mean, you look at the way Hales and Butler played against India. One thing that India don't have, or didn't have really, is genuine pace. And Pakistan have genuine pace. They have mid to late 140s, early 150s with Harris Ralph. Nasim Shah, I think, has been outstanding through the tournament. So I expect them to hit, they'll hit them hard with that pace up front and Shaheen. If it doesn't work, Nawaz will bowl a couple of overs, maybe in the power play, or one over at least, a left arm spin. These guys have played Alex Hales a lot in the PSL. Hales has been in Pakistan over the last 4 or 5 years playing in that PSL tournament. So they know him a little bit better, I would imagine. And if you restrict Butler, you bring the likes of Salt in. I agree with what Simon said. I think Phil Salt should have been playing from the start of the tournament. It's a tough one to leave Dawid Malan out, but I think Phil Salt's a better player. So that would have been my preference early on. Pakistan are going to find a way. I just feel they'll find a way to hit them hard with pace, and if it doesn't work, they've got 2 quality spinners.
Well, Dooley just touched on the spinners. So Nawaz and Rashid. So what part do they play, Scoob, in the middle overs?
Well, they play a big role from the point of view, if the pacemen fire in both teams, it probably gets them to even bowl with a little more positivity for wickets. If they've then got to shut down runs because things haven't worked in those first 3 or 4 overs and they're brought in during the power play, it makes them bowl a different way. So I think they're both very positive wicket-taking spinners. So if the quickies for both teams can get off to a good start, I think it really brings the spinners in as wicket-taking options.
Dooley, Pakistan's openers, Rizwan and Babar, I mean, they've saved their best to last, but can they do enough damage in the power play?
They struggled. That's been the biggest problem from Pakistan's point of view, and their biggest criticism from outside the team, I think, has been, are they fast enough? Do they score quick enough? One of them has to go, and I think Rizwan took that responsibility the other night. He was a little more aggressive than we have seen him, and Bubba just kind of cruises along with that 125 strike rate. It's okay if you're getting 50s, 60s, 70s for a time, but you can't continue to do that. He has to up the ante later in the piece, but one of them has to go in that power play, and it's going to be Rizwan. He's going to take more risks. If he can score at that 140 to 150 rate early enough, they'll be all right. I worry about the depth in their batting. That's probably the thing for me. If those two don't score runs, where do they get the runs from outside of maybe Shan Masood, who's been in some sort of form?
Bubba has had a shocking tournament by his standards, but you know, how fine it is for things to turn. He was dropped first ball, don't forget. You know, that catch taken, the game takes a completely different picture, but he wasn't. And now he's hailed a hero. Fine line, isn't it?
It is a fine line. And we talked about England's top order, so let's talk bowling for England. The firepower with Wokes and Curran. Have they got enough firepower to knock off the top order for Pakistan?
Mark Wood's been a massive part of this England bowling attack. He can bowl 150 plus. He has regularly right throughout the tournament. I don't think he's going to come up. He warmed up in Adelaide the other day just bowling half rat power. So, you know, I can't see him getting up in 48 hours for a World Cup final. So I think they'll go with Chris Jordan again. Gee, they asked a lot of Chris Jordan in the semi. He bowled the last 3 overs, was part of the last 6 overs of that Indian innings. They asked a lot of him for a guy playing his first game in this World Cup. So if there's a weakness in the England lineup from a bowling perspective, I think that's it. Is you know, Wood just finish them off, but they just don't have that class finish now.
Yeah, well, I don't want to put you two under the pump, but you blokes didn't pick Pakistan in any way, shape or form to make the finals. But, Dooley, I'm going to ask you, like, they had a slow start to the tournament. Can you read anything into that? I know they're playing in the final, but is there anything in that for you?
Well, I think if you look at what happened last year, they were expected to do everything. After that first game against India last year, they were expected. Rizwan and Bubba were on fire. They were expected to win. And everybody thought they would win. This year, nobody thought they'd win. And I think that's the key. That's when Pakistan are at their best. When they're kind of just flying under the radar and everybody thinks, no, it's Pakistan. I mean, they can't score runs. The things aren't going well. There's turmoil in the camp. That's when Pakistan are at their best. And maybe it's their time.
Dooley, I'm going to a man who's 0 and 10 from coin tosses, so he's a big one for this one of winning. Scoop, is it important to win the toss? Because would you rather chase in this tournament or would you rather put a score on the board?
Most sides in this comp have been wanting to chase during the preliminary rounds of the World Cup. Both these teams are coming off a semi-final where they chased really well. So they go into confidence with that aspect of the game. But look, because it's a World Cup final, I don't really think it matters. They're going to be versed on all the different scenarios that may happen in 2020 cricket. So they'll be ready one way or another, whether they're batting first or batting second.
All right, let's look under the hood, Dooley, because batting consultant didn't know this was the title, but there's certainly an invoice going in for our very own Haydos, Matthew Hayden. How big's his involvement been for Pakistan?
Yeah, it's been a lot. I've talked to Haydos a lot in the last couple of years post the tournament last year. He really absolutely loved his time. He loves dealing with these men. He's sort of this belief, and Matthew Hayden, as a player, and Skib will know well, he was just an intimidatory character. He would come at you, and that's all he wants these guys to do. He wants them to show what they have. They can be a little bit timid at times, particularly from a batting point of view, and it's just about that presence, and he wants them to show that at the crease. His little chats one-on-one to all of those guys will be very simple. They won't be full of technical stuff. You can't technically change things throughout a tournament, is what his philosophy is. It's more about that bravado, that stature at the crease that you have to have, and putting the bowlers under pressure in your areas, in your zone. So he's got a huge role to play. He has already had a huge role, and they love him. I mean, you see the way that they embrace him, and in and around the group and in and around the grounds when they're there. It's great to see.
I know behind the scenes, Scoob, they would be having enormous barbecues. Have you seen him on the grill? He should be a barbecue consultant. He can do anything.
Loves his outback stuff.
Loves his outback stuff.
Absolutely. And surfing too, I might add. He's a really good surfer.
Yeah, he's multi-talented, don't worry about that. All right, we're going to put you and Doull on the spot here because I want your tips of who's going to win and why, and the player of the match. I'm going to start with you, Scoob.
Draw.
Oh, well, sits on the fence once again. Have a look at him.
No, I'm going to go with Pakistan. The two late changes for England, I think, are crucial. The most crucial one, I know that's poor English, but it's the best I've got, is Jordan in for Wood. I think England will miss Wood. I just do. So I'm going to go with Pakistan.
Okay, who's your player of the match?
Baba Hassan.
He just loves saying his name.
I do. I love it.
Baba Hassan in the green room. All it was Baba. All right, now, Doull, who wins this one and why, and your player of the match?
Okay, look, Scoob's gone Pakistan. I'll go England just for a good point of difference. I think, much like a good racehorse, Chris Jordan will be better for the run and he'll be better second up. I think they will dominate a little bit more with the bat. If Jordan plays, they bat down to 10 for mine, so I think that'll put the more pressure on that Pakistan bowling lineup. And my player of the match will be Phil Salt.
Oh, wow, Doull.
Oh, the second gamer.
That's why we've got him on the show.
Brilliant stuff.
He's just pulled it out. Well, Doull, it's been fantastic having you on the show. We know you've got a busy schedule with the World Cup, but enjoy the final and you've done a great job. Well done.
Hey, cheers, lads. Have a great weekend.
That's our World Cup, a special preview scoop. Terrific work from you. You're the player of the match all series.
I really hope we can work together again soon.
Real soon. It's just a great reunion. Two scholars from Assumption. That's how we roll. We hope you enjoy what will be a classic on Sunday night. Make sure you subscribe below and don't forget to follow us on socials. We will return in the new year.